Stepping onto your mat towards the back and bringing yourself into Siddhasana, where you have one foot in front of the other, one ankle in front of the other. Draw the flesh of your butt out so you're more on your sits bones, less on your tailbone. Finding where your low back is long and lifted. If Siddhasana doesn't work for you, you can work with Sukhasana, where you rest your shins on opposite feet. You can also sit up on something to help support your posture. As you settle into your posture and find the length of your spine, become aware of your breath as it happens. And then begin to deepen the breathing, shifting into Ujjayi Pranayama. Allowing the belly and the rib cage and the shoulders to expand from the inside out with the inhale. And using your exhale to release, to let go. Whatever it is you need to let go of so that you can be more clear and present for your practice. In today's practice, we're going to work with Matangi Mudra. Matangi is known as an incarnation of Kali, a fierce Hindu goddess of transformation, who wears a garland of skulls around her neck. So if you bring your hands interlaced at the level of your solar plexus, interlacing all of your fingers except for your middle fingers, which are going to point up towards the sky. As you press the heels of your hands together, feel how that expands your rib cage, opens your breathing capacity a little bit more. Bringing your forearms parallel to the ground. I love this mudra because it feels so strong and irreverent to be holding your middle fingers up, yet it's at the heart center. The middle finger is the Saturn finger, which represents commitment, our key word for today, and responsibility, as well as an awareness of how to use time to your best advantage. With this awareness, you're telling yourself, okay, let's get all of me, left and right hemispheres of the brain that rule right and left sides of my body, to meet at center, to come together with middle fingers up as though I'm saying F you to that which holds me down, holds me back, but balancing that with the love of the heart center and the wisdom of the third eye focus. So as you take your gaze inwards, turn your eyes to look inwards and upwards towards the third eye. Becoming aware of your breathing again, we're going to move into Agnisara, which is a dynamic pulsing of the belly on the suspended exhale. So this next time that you exhale and you empty the breath out of the body by drawing your belly back towards your spine, hold the breath out but without holding tight, soften your belly, and then pulse your belly by drawing it in and up, keeping the breath held out of the body, relax the belly, and then draw it in and up. And do that slowly until you find the dynamic of it where you feel you're not struggling with the breath. And then when you feel you need the breath to come in, let the breath flow in and out again and repeat so that you're pulsing the belly, massaging the internal organs, stimulating digestion as you hold the breath out of the body, jaw relaxed, eyes closed. Just pulse as many times as works for you until you need to let the breath come back in so you're not struggling with the breath. Agni is the god of fire, so we're stirring up the fire in the belly in this third chakra, Manipura. The corset, the several layers of abdominal muscles are woken up first thing, and we physically light the flame of determination at the core. And with your gaze at the third eye point, that area of clear seeing in Ajna chakra can begin to set your mind, your sights. Vision or sight is the sense associated with Manipura here in the third chakra. So we're using this clear seeing to clarify what fires are burning us down and to reset those fires so they help to burn up our self-destructive tendencies. This process of empowerment requires commitment and discipline. As you let go of that last round of Agnisara, the fire in the belly, stimulating digestion, let your breath settle so it becomes long and deep, noticing the effect of that practice on your breathing. Perhaps your diaphragm feels a little more fluid, your rib cage can expand a bit more. This is the time and the place to set intention for yourself. Where will you devote your fire to develop your empowered self? What will you set your sights on? What are you committed to? As you clarify your commitment, if you have lots of them, just choose one for this practice, for right now. Think of drawing that commitment into the Adi mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Breathing in for the first of 3. As you inhale, lift your arms up and circle them around and back. Like you're moving the energy of the mantra and the mudra into the body and the breath, and shrugging off any shoulds on the shoulders, any baggage that you're carrying on your shoulders. Think of exhaling, dropping it back behind you. So you're clarifying again what you're devoting your energy or fire to. Taking another breath or so here. And this next time that you lift your arms up overhead, keep your arms up, turn your palms to face the right, settling your shoulders onto your back, and then curve over to the right and set your right hand on the ground. Push the ground away with your right hand, spreading your fingers out, plant the base of your fingers down into the ground, and bend your elbow and roll it in to point towards your hip so your shoulder slides down onto your back. And as you push the ground away, feel how that sets your left butt cheek on the ground and opens into the left side of the body as you deepen your breathing there along your left waist and into your ribs and all the way up into your shoulder. Then see if you can let your head go at the top, shoulders sliding down. And focus on lengthening from that left sits bone out through your left fingertips without shrugging your left shoulder up around your neck. Jaw relaxed, long, deep Ujjayi pranayama into that left side. Inhaling from the left sits bone up and exhaling and releasing out through the left arm. And this next time that you exhale, begin to circle your left arm, whichever direction you want to start in, finding where it feels right for you to inhale in that circle and where it feels good to exhale. Again, like you're circulating your commitment, your flame. This next time that you inhale, change the direction of your arm. See if that feels any different. Finding the circumference that gives you the best stretch along your side body and into your neck and works for your shoulder. And this next time that you release down with your fingertips stretched towards the ground, keep your hand there. Reiterate the press from the right hand so that you're lifting through that curve on the left side. And focus your breath all the way up into the left side of your neck. You may need to change the angle of your head in order to fully release your head and breathe easily into the stretch in your neck. We're just going to change the left hand. Press through the heel of the hand, drawing your fingers back, and see if that's breathable. Notice the change in the hand, and notice how that affects the stretch in the neck. So next time that you exhale, roll your head forward along your collarbones, bring your hands to your knees and curve back, drawing your belly back towards your low back. And as you inhale, use your arms to help draw you up, lifting your sternum more than your chin. And then continue for a few more breaths, noticing the difference between the two sides. Noticing what you're feeling in your hips and your shoulders. As you move into the spinal flex, inhaling, lifting up, opening the front body, and exhaling and opening the back body. This next time that you inhale and draw yourself up, change the front foot. And continue on for a few more breaths in your spinal flex, noticing how that feels, if that's any different on your leg joints, your ankles, knees, and hips. Bringing your shoulder blades behind you so you lift your sternum more than your chin, opening the heart space. This next time that you lift up, lift your arms up, turn your palms to face the left, slide your shoulders down, and then curve from your waist, coming over towards the left side. Plant your left palm down on the ground, spreading your fingers out, and push the ground away with your left hand so that you open into the right side of the body. Feel how that plants your right sits bone a little more firmly. Let your head release at the top of that, and breathe from your right sits bone all the way up towards your right fingertips. Sliding your shoulders down, feeling where your right arm needs to be for your shoulder. We so often talk of the core as just the belly, just the front part. In this practice, we're going to discover the three-dimensionality of our stem and how we can support ourselves all the way around, the way the fibrous trunks of coconut trees allow them to sway in the tropical storms without uprooting. Taking another inhale into this whole right side, and as you exhale, begin to circle your right arm, whichever direction you want to start in, exploring space with that right arm. Adjusting for what works for your shoulder. Inhale and exhale each circle. Keeping your head relaxed. Notice how it wants to get involved. Let it go. Let your jaw relax. Feeling the support of the left hand on the ground, but not sinking into it. Push the ground away so that you continue to arch through the right side. This next time that your hand comes down towards the ground, change the direction of your circle. Feeling how the same circle, but in the other direction, might feel different. And this next time that your hand reaches down towards the ground, actively stretch down through your fingertips. Release your head. You may need to change the angle of your head so that you can let it go fully. Pushing the ground away with your left hand, focus on breathing from your right hip all the way up into the open right side of your neck, really inhabiting the intensity of that stretch. Bringing your commitment even into this little area in your neck. Find space between your top and bottom teeth. If you want to take this a little deeper or change it, you can reach through the heel of your hand. Just be sure that that change in your hand and what it does to your shoulder is breathable in your neck. This next time that you exhale, let your chin roll forward along your collarbones, bring your hands to your knees, and roll back into spinal flex, exhaling all the way back. If you want to open your low back, pull your belly into your low back, let your head release. As you inhale, use your hands on your knees to draw you up. Draw the heart forward, shoulder blades down and back. Exhaling and rolling back. Inhaling and drawing up, following your pace of breathing. letting it roll from the tailbone right up to the head, along the length of your spine like a wave or a whip. And this next time that you lift up, you're going to change the legs. So bringing your legs out in front and seeing how the spinal flex feels here. Check that your feet are parallel, about a fist width apart, so you have toes, ankles, knees, front hips. And you might find when you exhale, you can open a little bit more through your upper back. Focusing when you inhale on drawing yourself up. So instead of rounding forward, lift your sternum up, lift your tailbone up, so you're up on your sits bones. And this next one, when you exhale back, it might feel good to roll your chin along your collarbones to open the back of your neck. Next time that you inhale, lift yourself up, and you may need to angle back a little bit away from your thighs in order to get the lift of the low back. Sternum lifted, shoulder blades on your back. Use your hands on your legs to help you find that lift, and then start to take your feet off the ground, playing with finding your balance, which is dynamic. It's going to change every single second. And just bringing your feet as high as your low back doesn't collapse, so you can feel that the vertebrae of your spine have disappeared into the muscles on either side of your spine. Once you find that, the integrity in the low back, bring your hands off your legs, so your legs have to hold themselves up, and imagine you have solid blocks underneath your hands that you can press your hands down into to continue to lift your sternum up. So here is where you really feel that three-dimensionality of the stem, the core, all the way around, front, sides, and back, holding you up. Give that one more inhale, and then as you exhale, release your legs down and out, and windshield wiper your legs side to side, releasing the top of your hips and thighs. And breathing. Notice if you started holding your breath when you were balancing. Let your breath deepen, integrate what you've just done. Bringing yourself up onto your feet, still towards the back edge of the mat, so you have room to move forward in the next few things. We're coming into squat, malasana. So start with your toes at the edges of the mat and your feet in, as much as possible, the same angle left to right from the midline. And then focus on taking your heels and your tailbone down, lengthening your low back. So this posture helps digestion. It's often translated into garland pose, but apparently mala means shit. It's really shitting pose. Once you have a little bit of groundedness through your heels and your tailbone, lift up onto the balls of your feet so that you can align your knees out over your toes using your arm strength to find that alignment, as much as the stretch on your inner thighs will allow, feeling how that lifts your inner arches. And also lifting your sternum, rolling your shoulder blades onto your back. So we get these two major mantles of the shoulders and the hips a bit more open for our tricky poses later in this season. As you start to find where you can keep the knees and hips open and the shoulders open and also sink the heels down a little bit without rolling inwards, then bring your arms out in front and play with balance. If that doesn't work, keep your hands low or fingers even on the ground. Giving yourself another breath here, use your exhale to transition into table pose. Spread your fingers out on the ground as you bring your hands under broad shoulders and your knees under your front hips. So lifting one or both wrists and thumbs to stretch where the fingers connect to the palms. Next time that you inhale, roll into cow pose. Check that your hands are in a good place to clear your shoulders from your neck. And then as you exhale, roll into cat pose from your tailbone up to your head, arching your back up towards the sky. Double checking that your knees are aligned under front hips. You can't really see your feet. Taking some time here to roll between cat and cow with your pace of breathing. So inhaling as you let your torso open towards the ground, and exhaling as you arch your back up towards the sky, leading from your tailbone and rolling upwards, keeping the back of your neck long, particularly on the inhale. Open through the base of your fingers and through your shins. And this next time that you roll into cow pose, pause here, adjusting as you need to. And we're going to add breath of fire into this posture. So if you haven't done breath of fire before, it's a dynamic breathing with the action of the diaphragm. It sounds a little bit like a train gaining speed or sawing wood. So you're inhaling and exhaling completely, filling the lungs and emptying the lungs, breathing through your nose so the sound is in the nose. If you're pregnant, don't do this. If you're in the first few days of menstruation, you might choose to stay with rolling between cat and cow with long, deep breathing. So it's quite a dynamic breath. Begin to feel how the change of breath changes the understanding of this core area. How does the rapid pulsing of breath of fire feel in this cow pose as you allow your torso to drop down with the pull of gravity? Feeling where your shoulder blades slide back behind your heart space. The nerve plexus along the spine for the solar plexus area for this energy center, Manipura, is in the mid to upper back, just behind the heart. We're stimulating adrenals and kidneys with this dynamic breathing practice and holding the posture. As you continue and you find your rhythm, mentally add the mantra Sat Nam to your breathing. In your mind, inhaling Sat and exhaling Nam. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. Whatever the pace of your breathing is, even if you're doing long, deep breathing, see if you can mentally add that mantra in, which means that you're naming Nam, your truth, Sat or Satya. Press the ground away and roll your way into cat pose, keeping the breath of fire going. So pressing down through your shins and through the base of your fingers. Use that pressure down to arch your back up. As you leverage the floor away with your hands and your shins, feel how that opens the mid-back area that was sinking towards the ground in cow pose. And it's a bit trickier to breathe into the back when your back is arched up and your front body is closed off, which reminds us that commitment is not a one-time statement or intention. Rather, it's a consistent reiteration of the original intention, particularly through the doubt, the denial, and the intense sensations that arise. So reconnect with your commitment as you stay with breath of fire in cat pose, letting your head drop down. Notice if your head's trying to hold everything up. Use your hands and your shins to push the ground away. And allow the pulsing action of breath of fire, the diaphragm moving rapidly, to stimulate your adrenals and your kidneys, to help give them a fresh flush of oxygen. Finding that mantra in your mind. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. Like you're planting a seed with each mental iteration. And that seed is to more fully uncover who you already are, the truth of your existence. I'm going to come back to table, and as you do, take a breath in and suspend the inhale. Once you've breathed in fully, pause, and if it's appropriate for you, engage Mula Bandha, root lock, by squeezing anus, sex organ, and navel in and up. Close your eyes if they're open and take your gaze towards your third eye point, staying present with a suspended inhale just until the point where you need to let go, so you're not struggling. And when you do, when you let the breath out, release root lock and press your way back into extended child. Use your hands to help you lengthen your low back, pushing the ground away. Let your head release down. And take in what you've just done. Integrate that. Notice your breathing after that practice of breath of fire. And shifting into Ujjayi Pranayama if you haven't already, so you're moving back into a long, deep, ocean-sounding breath. You're going to move that breath with the body and essentially move the spine in its curves that we just did in cat and cow, but along the length of the ground. Because next time that you inhale, bring your hands wide enough that you can move your body between them. And then bring yourself forward and down onto the mat, all the way belly down. Taking your elbows out wide, and then only lift up once you're belly down. As far as you can also lift your hands, so you're not forcing your back into a back bend. And then to come back, lift your belly up from underneath, lift your hips up. And you're probably going to have to walk your hands forward and back to help you, so that you get your butt all the way back over your heels, your low back lengthening before you come forward again. You're coming forward and up only as far as you're not forcing it, and then coming all the way back. So feel free to walk your hands forward and back to help support, taking your elbows out wide so your shoulders feel stable. And once you start to get a sense of the motion, see if you can inhale forward and up, and exhale all the way back. This is called Danda. It's the first level, the ground level of Indian push-ups. I'm going to evolve this through this season. This is kind of like being a wave rolling into the shore and then ebbing back out of the shoreline. And initially it might feel a bit choppy. Work with that so that as you strengthen your shoulders, you find greater flexibility along your spine. The waves, the movement forward and back becomes smoother, more fluid. This next time that you come all the way forward and down, stay here. Bring your feet in line with your front hips if they're together or have wandered out wide. Draw your low belly in and up so you feel your pubic bones press down, your front hips lift away from the ground, your low back lengthen. And then as you rest your forehead on the ground, bring your hands interlaced behind your back. Let your interlaced fingers rest on your butt. And then to lift your upper body up, lift your hands up away from your butt and reach them back towards your feet. Inhale as you lift up, and exhale as you come back down, keeping your head in line with your spine so the back of your neck stays long, otherwise your chin's going to try to do all of this for you. And as you're lifting up, notice how your toes want to lift off the ground. Keep your toes planted, particularly your little toes, so you don't constrict your pelvis and your low back. Inhaling up, exhaling down, and moving as dynamically as you feel safe to move. See if you can feel that the muscles of your upper back are drawing together to bring your shoulders towards each other behind you. Your palms may or may not be together. Work with what works best for your shoulders and your wrists. This is similar to breath of fire if you end up moving that quickly. It's more of a nose breath. If you haven't already, change your finger lacing, so that you make a small change in how your hands are laced, your elbows and shoulders are related to each other. So you're sliding all your fingers over one, other thumb on top. And this next time that you inhale and lift up, pause and hold the lift, but don't hold your breath. Allow your sight line, your commitment, to help you stay in the heat of holding yourself up off the ground without holding your breath or your jaw. Reconnecting with what you're committed to in this practice. Next time that you exhale, release down and let your head roll to face the right so that you're resting on your left ear. Arms relaxed. If it works for your knees, let your heels drop out. And let go of the weight of your body after practicing levitation. Now sink down. Allow the ground to hold you. And keep your breath active, dynamic, so that you're massaging those muscles in your back that just woke up. See if you can connect your breath to the sensation along your spine. Bring your head back to center on your forehead or your chin, whatever works best for your nose. Turn your palms to face the ground. We're going to move into an exercise that I call humper. This next one requires a sense of humor. You cannot take yourself seriously here, but you can trust there's a reason we're doing it and go along for the ride to find out what that is. So you're going to inhale your butt up and then exhale and drop it down. See if you can do this with the pace of breath of fire. So breathing strongly through your nose, inhale up, exhale down. So essentially it looks like you're humping the ground. Inhale up, exhale down. Jaw relaxed. If you need to stop and laugh, go for it, but then join back in once you are able to. Reconnect with your commitment. Just a little bit farther. So you start to feel some sensation in your body. And then release. Notice what you're feeling as you let your head roll to the left, so you're resting on your right ear, your arms relax, if possible your heels drop out. So hopefully what you found is a bit more energy activation in your gluteal and low back muscles. We're going to see if those two exercises, humper and serpent, where you are lifting your upper body up off the ground, can inform and support danda, those Indian push-ups. So we're going to come back into those. But for another moment, take a breath into your low back. And then bring yourself back to center, realigning your toes with your ankles, with your knees, with your front hips. Bring your forehead to center, your hands underneath your shoulders, thumbs about level with your nipples, let your elbows come out. And then just like you did in humper, lift your hips up away from the ground, push the ground away, and transition forward for danda, Indian push-ups. Rolling forward on your inhale and back on your exhale. Feel free to adjust if you need your forearms on the ground to support your shoulders. Only going to the point where you're not forcing the back bend. And this next time that you inhale and come forward, bring your hands under your shoulders, your thumbs about level with your nipples. Align your toes with your heels, with your knees, with your front hips. Rest your forehead on the ground and tuck your elbows in and point them back so you feel how your neck clears. Draw your low belly in and up, lengthening your low back. And this next time that you inhale, so find your breath, use your inhale to lift your head and your chest, but keep looking down so the back of your neck is long. And then only lift as high as you can lift your hands. And bring the heels of your hands down and traction your rib cage forward, drawing yourself long. And then see if there's any more movement to come up. Feel how your triceps engage. Lengthen to come out and down, resting in crocodile with your hands stacked. Turn your toes in and drop your shoulders down and take that in. Take in that opening, that back bend that you just had in Bhujangasana, Cobra. And we come back into strengthening the back, the cross body stretch. This next time that you inhale, draw your low belly in and up, realign your toes with your front hips, lengthen your arms out in front, and push the ground away like you do an extended child so that you find your shoulders on your back. Taking your gaze down so that your neck is long. Lift up your right leg and your left arm and lengthen from right toe tips to left fingertips without disintegrating, keeping your front hips facing the ground. Give that a breath, see if you can lift within the length. Next time you exhale, release down to reset. Both hands on the ground, shoulders on your back. And then as you inhale, lift up. Left leg, right hand. Using your left hand on the ground to help you keep your shoulders on the back by pushing the ground away. Finding that cross-body stretch without disintegrating. Next time that you exhale, release down into crocodile again, stacking your forearms with your right forearm on top. If it works for your knees, let your toes roll in and let go. Breathe into your back. Next time that you inhale, lift your way back up for full superheroine. So push the ground away with your hands, shoulders on your back, look down. And as you inhale next, lift both legs and focus on the length of your legs more than how high they lift, keeping your low back long, so low belly drawn in and up. You can keep your hands on the ground or lift your arms up as long as your shoulders don't crowd your neck. Next time you exhale, swerve over to the right, taking your arms and your legs to the right, feeling how your right waist shrinks in, left waist opens. Next time you inhale, come back to center. Feel free to bring your hands down so your shoulders are on your back. You can keep them down or lift them up again. And swerve over to the left. Finding the sense of flying out in space and swerving to the left. Look down so the back of your neck is long. Next time you inhale, come back to center. And see if you can give it another breath or so to levitate, to lift up. Fire in the belly to stay. And then as you exhale next, release once more into Makarasana, crocodile. This time stacking your left forearm on top. And let your underarms drop down, your head rest on your forearms if it works for your knees, your heels to drop out, and breathe along your spine. Notice what you just activated along the side waist. Take your left arm and stretch it out long in front of you. Bring your right hand back by your chest and push the ground away so you roll to your left side, and then lift up briefly so that you can look down the right side of your body and see that you've aligned your ankles, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and your left arm all in one place, all in one line. Once you've seen that alignment by looking down your right side, then bring yourself down, turning your left palm up, slide both shoulders down, let your head rest on your left arm. And square your feet so they feel like they're pressed up against a wall. Four corners of your feet. Big toe ball, little toe ball, inner heel and outer heel pressed to keep the knees long. Keep your head released, your shoulders broad, and next time that you inhale your legs up off the ground. See if you can get a sense of lifting your legs by shrinking your right waist. Drawing your right hip towards your shoulder and dropping your right shoulder down towards your hip. Using your right hand in front of you for balance, so you don't have to worry about balance just yet. Find your breath in this, you're not holding your breath. Pressing through the soles of your feet. And then to play with increasing that strengthening on the right waist, lift and lengthen your left arm, if possible, without bending your wrist or your elbow. And then if you want to play with balance, you can lift your right hand up off the ground, interlace your fingers into Venus Mudra. But if you lose your balance, keep your right hand on the ground and focus on the strengthening instead. Next time that you exhale, release down, roll to the other side. Prop up on your right hand so that you can look down the left side of your body and align your ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and right hand. Once you get a sense of that, your feet are strong like they're up against a wall, then release your right arm long, turn your palm up, slide your shoulders broad. Find your breathing and use your next inhale to lift both legs. Feel that your hips remain stacked so you haven't rolled back onto your right butt cheek. You're shrinking your left waist, bringing your hip towards your shoulder, your left shoulder down towards your hip. Breathing steadily And then see if you can start to lift and lengthen your right arm. So you're like a sickle moon lying on the ground. That whole right side lengthening and curving, left side shrinking. Get a sense of lifting your arm, aligning your head with your spine. If you want to play with balance, take your left hand off the ground, interlace into Venus Mudra, and use that left arm to lift the right arm. Lengthen the top of your head towards your hands. Keep breathing. You may need to focus your eyes to help your balance. Use your next exhale to release down and scoot in onto your back. And as you come down onto your back, draw your knees in towards you into tuck pose or Pavana Muktasana, which translates to mean wind liberating posture. So this is another really good one for digestion, for moving things through. What you no longer need, let it go. Breathe your belly towards your thighs so you feel your low back open. Notice what you've done with the side waist, if you can feel that. Next time you inhale, uncurl your legs and hook your big toes. Begin to stretch your legs up, keeping a tight grip on your big toes, palms facing each other to help keep your shoulders broad. And look to see that your leg bones align. So you have middle toes, ankles, knees, front hips aligned, about a fist width of space between your inner big toes. If you want to deepen this stretch and you have a little bit more flexibility in the backs of your legs, you can hold the whole ball of your foot with your fingers, or even the outer edges of your feet. But find the hold that enables you to breathe into that stretch in the backs of your legs. Only stretching up as far as your breath is steady. Your jaw is relaxed. You're in control. Another one of our key words in this energy center. Let the breath determine where that right place is for you. This next time that you exhale, let go of your feet, but keep your legs in the air. Energize your feet so it looks like you have high heels on, or you have Barbie doll feet. Balls of your feet up, toes drawn back. And then interlace your fingers behind your head and lift your head up so that you can see your breath in your belly. Bring your elbows in and your shoulders broad so the back of your neck is clear. Moving into yogi lifts. As you inhale, expand your belly open, pause for a second, tuck your belly down before you exhale, and then exhale, pull your belly deep into your back, curl your tailbone up, and then squeeze your thighs together and lengthen up through your legs, spreading your 10 toes up. Keep watching your belly, and at the full part of that exhale, draw your belly a little deeper into your back, and then soften on the inhale, letting your legs soften. Notice if you're pulling your neck. Inhaling fully, pause, pull your belly down, and then exhale, belly deep into your low back. Curl your tailbone up, lengthen your legs. Spread your 10 toes out at the top of that. Pull your belly down at the bottom of that. Doing just 4 of these total. Slow breath. So you gain greater control over your breathing and deeper core strength on that front core. The next time that you exhale, if that's your last one, release your way down, rest your head in your hands, keep your feet close to your bum, and take that in. Breathe your belly open. It should feel like you don't want to do any more if you've done them right. But we're going to do a couple more. So bring your legs back up. Find the energy of your feet, activate your toes, draw your head up easily, don't yank your neck, and then change the lacing of your fingers. Draw your elbows in like you have blinders on, and then pull your elbow points up towards your knee points so your shoulder blades are fully off the ground. Same breathing, same action. But as you exhale and you pull your belly down into your back and you lengthen your legs up, pull your elbows up as well. So we're strengthening the abdominal muscles right up by the solar plexus where the ribs come to meet at the sternum. Just doing 2 of these, really slow, very steady, jaw relaxed. And once you've done those 2, rest your head on the ground. Keep your legs in the air. You can soften them for a breath or so as we reset the head. Then bring your arms up into the air, turning your palms to face each other and bringing your shoulder blades underneath you, coming into dead bug pose. Adjust your feet now so it looks like they're standing on the ceiling. Take a breath into that. And then shake your arms and legs out, shaking them really loose so you can feel the muscles shake loose. And then laugh as crazily as you can. Last dance of the dying bug. Activating your abdominal muscles through laughing. So even if you have to fake it, see if you can do it from your belly, from your core. And even if it's one of those sorts of days where you're not able to laugh on command, fake it. Notice how that makes you feel, even if you have to pretend. And see if you can find where laughing is a nourishing practice for yourself. It's another tool you can determine to use. As you relax back in towards yourself, towards the ground, breathe a little deeper, take in the effects of laughing. And then change the hold on your legs so that you're holding your kneecaps from the inside. Press your knees out to the sides until you find an inner thigh stretch. Broaden your shoulder blades underneath your back, lengthen your arms so that your knees are in line with your hip crests. And then breathe into your inner thighs. See if you can get the breath right down into the pelvic floor and think of breathing into that inner thigh stretch. Very similar to what we did in squat earlier on. And then adjust your feet. If you've done frog pose before, it's similar legs. Turn your inner heels up, energize your toes. Once you have a sense of your feet, lift your head up and look to see where your feet are. So if they're aligned, you won't really be able to see your toes. They're in line with your ankles. Ankles are in line with your knees. Knees are in line with your hips. You're going to do the same kind of yogi lifts here. Same breathing. Inhale, belly open. Pause, pull your belly down, curl your tailbone up, draw your pubic bones up towards your belly button. And as you exhale and deepen all of that, amplify it, take your thigh bones out to the sides, your knees out to the sides. They'll want to pull up towards your waist, but see if you can keep the open space between your thighs and your hip crests. Taking a little break on the inhale. Pause, jaw relaxed, not yanking your neck. And then pull your belly down. Exhale, draw your belly deeper. Curl your tailbone up. And take your thighs out wider, as though you're aiming your kneecaps towards the outer edges of the mat. Once you've done 4 of those, slow and steady, then let your head come down first and help your legs back into center. And feel free to move and adjust to address any sensations or tightnesses. Taking your time to come up easily without a lot of effort. So you might want to rock and roll on your spine or just roll to your right and press up. And as you establish a firm seat, stretch your arms out in front and come into Danda, coming into it a little bit quicker now. Inhaling forward and up and exhaling all the way back. Finding your inchworm action, your wave-like action of flowing forward and up on the inhale and all the way back into child, your butt over your heels on your exhale. And we're going to start to take this into the second level of Danda off the ground. So this next time that you're coming back, curl your toes under and lift your way up into modified down dog. So lift your heels, bend your knees, tilt your tail up and check where you are. And then stretch your heels a little deeper. And as you exhale next, roll forward into plank. Pause here, check your alignment, your distance front to back. Draw your low belly in and up, so you're one long plank-like line. And then roll between these two. So you're exhaling to transit and inhaling in the posture. This next time that you come back into your down dog, check that your distance front to back feels stable. So you may need to bring your feet a little closer to your hands. Anchor a little deeper through your heels once you've tilted your tail up. And then next time you inhale, lift your right leg up and back for three-legged down dog, finding where your pelvis stays even, your front hips face the floor. So you can see that if you look underneath by seeing that your little toe is looking at the floor instead of off to the right side. Once you find a little more stretch through your left heel, then start to lengthen your right leg up, letting your hip open. So you're moving into flipper, finding the height of that right leg that doesn't pull your right shoulder up and around. And then flop your right foot towards your left butt cheek and continue to lead up with your right knee. So you're opening your quadricep, your thigh. Look to see that your left knee isn't following. So keeping your left knee aligned over your left toes, feeling that twist at your waist. Breathe a little deeper, shoulders on your back. This next time that you inhale, lengthen your right leg, passing through three-legged down dog. Step forward on your exhale into right lunge, and find the strength of your legs and your core so that you can lift some weight out of your hands, which you'll need for this next posture. So as you exhale next, transition your back foot so that you align your arch with your front foot. If that feels too precarious to be on a tightrope, then keep your left foot wider. But take your heel behind your toes slightly, if you can, or the outer edge of your foot parallel to the back edge of the mat. And then bring your right fingertips or your palm inside your right ankle. If you are using a block, you'll stay outside the ankle. And press your outer right shoulder and your inner right knee together to help open that inner right thigh, and feel your right arch lift. Again, you may want to lift your toes so you find that arch lift. So now that you have your feet set, your knees aligning over your toes, draw your low belly in and up. Just like we did in those frog yogi lifts, see if you can feel your tailbone aiming back towards your heel, your left heel, and at the same time opening inner thighs. From that foundation, start to open your left ribs, your left shoulder up towards the sky, feeling how that wants to tug your right knee to the left as well, and pressing your right knee out. If you feel balanced here, you want to take your left arm up, extend your fingertips away from your right hand so you're not sinking into your right hand. If you want to go a little deeper with this, you can take your left arm overhead, but without your shoulders creeping up around your neck, stretching your fingertips away from the outer edge of your left foot. Give that another breath or so in Utthita Parsva Konasana, extended side flank stretch. To make a transition up from here, push the ground away with your right hand and with your right foot, and bring your right elbow up onto your right thigh. This is also another alternate version for more support if you don't want to go so deep with your hand on the ground. And once you're there, we're going to make a transition from here up a little bit higher and prepare for Trikonasana. I'm going to take a warrior two approach to this tricky pose that we've been building towards. So when you find yourself upright, look to see where your right knee is and open it out over your toes, keeping your right knee bent to help find that alignment. If it feels too precarious to have your feet this wide, then adjust and take a narrower stance. And then bring your hands down, right hand inside your thigh, bend your right knee and open your knee over your toes. Eye of your knee facing over your middle toes. Keep your right hand there on your inner thigh and feel how when you open your left ribs away from your right knee, the right knee wants to follow. Once you have both arches lifted, knees aligned over toes, lift your arms up, push the ground away with the ball of your right foot, so lifting your right toes up, draw your right thigh muscle up, inhale and lift your waists up, and then exhale and extend out over your right leg like you're reaching over a countertop. Pause there when you get to your farthest point. Inhale, lengthen your waists, and then exhale, extend again. And just go to the farthest point where that stretch in your inner right thigh is breathable. And then just release your right hand down so your waists stay long. Using that leverage of your right hand inside your right leg to open your left side up and to remind the right knee to stay open over the toes. As you inhale, lengthen from the outer edge of your left foot all the way up to your left underarm, extending and lengthening. And as you exhale, check that your right knee hasn't rolled inwards. There's no weight in your right hand. See if you can feel your core, your strong navel center is holding everything up, and you're radiating out from there through your legs, your arms, and your spine. Give that one more inhale and use your next exhale to fold down into right lunge. Coming back to the place where we began, notice what that posture has done to your hips and your legs. Give that a breath in, and then as you exhale, lengthen up and back into three-legged down dog, right leg up and back. And then as you exhale next, come back into modified down dog, aligning your toes, your feet with your front hips. Tilt your tail up. Keep the tilt of your tail as you move into a deeper, a fuller down dog, checking that your low back stays long, shoulders are broad on your back. And then rolling from here with your next exhale into plank. Give plank a breath in and use your next exhale to roll back through modified down dog into a fuller down dog. So level 2 danda. Exhale to transit and inhale in the posture. See if you can find a wave-like action here of rolling between the two, lifting way up on the tips of your toes. So using your core strength to take weight out of the hands and the feet. This next time that you come back into your down dog, check that your distance front to back feels stable for you to have only 3 paws on the ground in three-legged down dog, so adjust if you need to, and then tilt your tail up, clear your shoulders from your neck, deepen your Adho Mukha Svanasana posture, and once you feel stable in your foundation, then inhale your left leg up and back, keeping your belly lifted from underneath. See if you can feel how the strength of the legs is taking weight out of the hands. So as you lengthen your left leg back, pressing through the ball of your foot, that pulls weight out of your left hand. And then notice your right waist. If that shrinks up, draw your right thigh back, aligning your knee over your toes, keeping your waist even. Next time you inhale, lengthen your left leg up into the air as high as it will go, letting your left hip open without your shoulder following or your right knee following, and then drop your left foot towards your right butt cheek, coming into flipper, opening your quadricep muscle, your thigh. Give that a big breath in. Next time you exhale, step forward, coming up onto your fingertips to give yourself room to step into high lunge. Finding your distance front to back, left to right, so you feel stable, always setting your foundation before we come up from there. Once you find the alignment, feel the strength lifting up out of the ground through your legs and your core so you can lighten weight in your hands. And then reset your back foot for Parsva Konasana. See if you can keep that lunge distance front to back, but adjust so you feel stable. Press the outer edge of your right foot into the ground. If you can, bring your left hand inside and press your shoulder and your knee together so you feel that stretch on your inner thigh as you draw your pubic bones up, your belly up. As you start to align your knees over your toes, and lengthen your low back with your core strength. Then open your right ribs, your right shoulder up. And then when you can, extend your right hand up. And notice if you're sinking into your left hand, push the ground away so you have space in your shoulder joints. Right hand up towards the sky or extend it overhead, but without your shoulder creeping up around your neck. Finding the stretch from the outer edge of your right foot all the way through your right fingertips. Feeling this intense side stretch. To support the transition in coming up, push the ground away with your left foot and your left hand. Bring your left elbow up onto your thigh. And then push the ground away again and inhale your way up. If you need to, reset the distance between your feet so that you feel stable as we come in to Trikonasana. So if it's too wide a stance, take it narrower. And then bend your left knee again and open your knee over your toes. So the eye of your kneecap faces over the middle toes. Your arch is lifted. Keep that alignment as you press the outer edge of your right foot down and you open your right ribs towards the back edge of the mat. And then lift your arms up, let them float up, because everything else underneath is strong, is holding you up. The arms are just an expression from that. Inhale as you lengthen up through your waist, arms lifted. Exhale as you extend out over your left leg, just to the point where that inner left thigh stretch is breathable. And look down, see where your left knee is. Lift it and roll it out to the left if it's rolled inwards. And then inhale again here, and exhale, see if you can extend out a little bit more from the outer edge of your right foot, pressing down right out through your left fingertips. As you exhale, bring your left hand inside your left leg, palm facing out, and use that hand to leverage your right ribs and shoulder open, and to remind your left knee to stay open and aligned over your left toes. Find your breath here. Breathe steadily to stoke the fire in your belly and to stay and strengthen. Think of radiating from your center out like the rays of the sun. See if you can feel the lengthening along the whole right side. No weight in the left hand. Trikonasana is the tricky pose of this practice. It's what everything else has been building to, so we're going to take it really slow. Be patient, apply tapas, and explore it. This next time that you exhale, bend your left knee and fold down into your left lunge. Notice how you feel, having a little bit more stability on the ground with all paws on the ground. And this next time that you exhale, transition up and back, taking your left leg up into three-legged down dog, keeping your pelvis stable. And then as you exhale next, release into modified down dog. So aligning your toes, lift your heels, bend your knees, tilt your tail up, and then find a little bit more opening through the backs of your legs without your low back rounding. Give that another breath or so. And as you exhale next, release down into extended child. Allowing your body to be supported by the ground, finding where you can rest your head for just a moment, letting yourself settle, your breath soften. We have a few more things to do before a final rest. So taking in the energy, the heat of what you've done. Slow your breathing if it became rapid. This next time that you inhale, uncurl and bring yourself up to kneeling. If kneeling is not a good option for you, feel free to sit cross-legged or sit on something if that helps support your knees or ankles. Bring your arms out level with your shoulders, with your palms facing up, so you can feel your shoulder blades on your back. And then bend your elbows and bring your fingertips to your shoulders or to the back of your head if that's a better option if you have issues with your shoulders. If you can, cup your shoulders with your thumbs in back and your fingers in front. And feel how that helps lift and align your elbows with your shoulders when your shoulders are broad on your back. We're going to rotate left to right. Inhale left, exhale right, breathing completely through the nose. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Strong breath in and out. Sounds almost like a sniff and a snort. And it may eventually sound like breath of fire if you end up moving that quickly. But start out relatively slowly so you can feel this action is happening from your navel center, belly button moving side to side, keeping your elbows opposite each other in line with your ears so you're not pulling your shoulders off your back. You might need to keep your eyes open initially so that you can see that you can't really see your elbows. They're just outside your peripheral vision. And then once you get a sense of that, close your eyes and see if you can feel that you're rotating side to side, similar to that blade in the washing machine. So keeping your low back really long. It's important that you have length in your low spine as we twist it dynamically like this. Going at the pace that you can breathe into. Inhale, left. Exhale, right. It's as though with this washing machine action, we're rinsing and releasing out all that's been stirred up in the core and along the spine, like you'd wring out a sponge or a towel that's just done some soaking up. When you feel safe with the structure of this, see if you can go a little crazy with the movement without losing the support of the breath and the length of the spine. See if you can find a spin cycle, a little bit more dynamic movement just before we finish. And then bring yourself back to center. Inhale as you align at center, keeping your elbows lifted. Suspend the in-breath and engage Mula Bandha, root lock, if that's appropriate for you. Turn your gaze inwards to Ajna chakra, the third eye point. And stay present with that suspended inhale only as long as you're not struggling. And when you need to, release the breath. Let your hands release down onto your legs, your arms relax. Release Mula Bandha if you'd engaged it. And sit still. Integrate. Notice what you feel. What have you just stirred up? What's moving? Let the breath happen. If possible, continue with kneeling. If that doesn't work for your knees or your ankles, even when you sit up on a block or a pillow between your heels, then you can do this cross-legged. Working with the mantra Sat Nam. So you're drawing the belly in on Sat and radiating the sound Nam from the navel center all the way up through the top of the head and out through the hands. So it's as though you're imploding on Sat, radiating up from the navel center on Nam.
Sat Nam. Sat Nam.
The hands are in Venus Mudra. If you're a woman, your left thumb is on top. If you're a man, your right thumb is on top. Pointer fingers extended up. When you bring your arms up, if your shoulders are tight, check that your low back has an overarch, so drop your tailbone down. Your arms might need to be a little bit forward of your ears if your shoulders are tight. Beginning by drawing the navel center in on Sat, if that works for you.
Sat.
If that's not appropriate, keep the belly soft.
Sat.
And extending up on Nam. Once you get going with this mantra, then take your gaze inwards and look towards Ajna chakra, third eye point between the brows. That third eye point adds wisdom to the process, a perspective from a little bit higher up. This is an intense practice. We'll be staying here for a couple minutes. If at any point you feel like you can't stay, see if you can just stay a little bit longer, 1 or 2 more rounds. Commit to stoking that fire in the belly. Tapas. But if you need to bring your arms down, just commit to coming back up as soon as you can. Quite a strong mantra. Think of implosion on Sat, lengthening upwards, right out through your fingertips on Nam. Allow your arms to extend from your waist instead of from your shoulders. taking strain out of the wrists. You're not trying to hold everything up with your hands. Trust the foundation underneath. Again, Sat Nam means that you're naming, acknowledging, bowing to Nam, your truth, Sat, Satya. Your truth being your very existence. This is a bij mantra, a seed mantra. Each iteration plants that seed for uncovering the dross, polishing the gem. Last one. And then inhale, suspend the breath, keep your arms up overhead, hold the breath in, engage Mula Bandha, so you're squeezing anus, sex organ, navel in and up, the very base of the spine, taking the energy upwards towards the top of the head, towards the fingertips and out. Keep your face soft, eyes focused at your third eye point, and only stay with this suspension for as long as you're not struggling. When you need to, exhale, release Mula Bandha, take your arms out and down, noticing how they feel, how you feel, and come down into Shavasana, corpse pose, as smoothly as you can. Notice what you're feeling, but instead of addressing it and fluffing about, see what naturally releases when you allow yourself to come down onto your back, legs and arms long, curves of the spine released, becoming more adept at finding the groove of Shavasana so you can settle into it sooner instead of spending all of your time getting into it. They say if you do nothing else from Kundalini Yoga, do Sat Kriya, the name of that Kriya, that exercise we just did, as Sat Kriya encapsulates the whole of Kundalini Yoga. It's a complete action, a Kriya of awakening and balancing the lower chakras, and then drawing that energy upwards and transmuting any poison into potion along the way. It's a balancing practice for the whole system. So don't underestimate the power of this little gem. We always use the mantra Satnam with this Kriya to ensure that the message you're sending to yourself in that process of reprogramming and transformation is one of truth, your truth. So Sat Kriya is a direct link to the name of this practice, strengthening your stem to the core, polishing your gem even more. Manipura means lustrous gem or city of jewels. It's here that we uncover what we already are. So settling down, part of Sat Kriya is the relaxation, the Shavasana practice afterwards. Don't skip this part. It's important that you have the integration, the stillness, to balance out the intensity of the Kriya. Letting go of anything that still is holding on, allowing yourself to rest more fully, to let die what no longer nourishes you. As you continue to rest and to receive like a sponge that's been wrung out and is now more porous and can absorb the juice, the benefits of the practice, I will read to you a quote from Yogi Bhajan. And he brought Kundalini Yoga to the West in the late 60s. If you have any sort of allergic reaction to the word God, just substitute what works best for you for that concept. Patience pays. Wait. Let the hand of God work for you. One who has created this universe, all the planetary faculties and facilities on Earth, he is the one who has created you. Wait. Have patience. Lean on him. Then all the best things will come to you. Dwell in God. Dwell in God. Dwell in God, befriend your soul. Dwell in God and befriend your soul. Dwell in God and befriend your soul. All the faculties and facilities of the creation which are in your best interest shall be at your feet. You need million things. Million things will reach you if you are stable, established, firm, patient. Remember, Creator watches over you, and creation is ready to serve you if you just be you. So please, take away the ghost of your life and stop chasing around. Consolidate, concentrate, be you. And may all the peace and peaceful environments, prosperity, approach you forever. Sat Nam. Deepening your breathing, coming into your body, into how you feel, being you, and moving now in a way that feels good to you. So notice if you're still feeling what you were aware of when you came out of Sat Kriya, and feel free to move and adjust to address any sensations or tightnesses. Taking your time to come up easily without a lot of effort. So you might want to rock and roll on your spine or just roll to your right and press up. And as you establish a firm seat, lift your arms out and up overhead, inhaling. Exhale, draw down and in to you, acknowledging yourself in your practice and anyone else you're practicing with. Namaste.